what is voter suppression, and how long has it been around? Because the way I read it, it's pretty recent. It only happened this last election, and only in Georgia, apparently, right?
Oh boy, brother. Voter suppression has been around a lot longer than just this last election cycle, and it's in a lot more places than just Georgia. Man, that is a great question. So the best way I can describe voter suppression, it's a way of systematically disenfranchising people. What I mean by that is denying them the access to, in this country, everybody, as a citizen of the United States, you have the right to vote, right? Unless you're a felon, which is another form of voter suppression. We could talk about that too. If you're a citizen in the United States, you have the right to vote. And, it's right there in the Constitution. It should not be infringed upon. Voting is literally hope. It is self-determination. We are a people run in a democracy by laws and government, and the people are to freely participate in that government. How do you tell the government what it is that you want? How do you tell them your needs? Through voting. So when you are taking away the vote from a person, you are taking away their voice in the government, which means the government does not need to listen to your needs. And if the government doesn't need to listen to your needs, you become invisible, irrelevant, expendable, in danger. And that's what you see historically, right? When voter suppression was denied to, obviously, the people who were enslaved, but even we'll talk about after the emancipation, when they became citizens, and the 14th Amendment, right? Where we became citizens, the 15th Amendment guaranteeing that right to vote.
What I want to ask you now is the effects. What effects has that had on our country, right? To limit the choice that so many Americans have had, to limit the voice that so many Americans have just gone without now. What has that done to America? And if this were to continue, what's the outcome?
Great questions. Look what happened after Reconstruction. When whites felt their power slipping away because of the amount of enfranchisement of other people, they responded with violence. What happened at the Capitol on January 6th, when they felt that power again slipping away? The response was violence. And it was a kind of violence that was unbridled, to the point where they were saying they were ready to hurt and kill anyone. They were like, hang Mike Pence. That was the rallying call. Hang Mike Pence.
Right.
Mike Pence, the vice president? Mike Pence, the Republican, longtime, right? Like, what? And that is a very dangerous kind of fury. 2, their rallying call was hang Mike Pence, which means they're willing to promote violence on anybody that they see as a threat. It's not just channeled against African Americans anymore,
right.
Which is what it was historically. Now it's anybody and everybody that they view as a threat, which is why almost every state's capital is on lockdown.
Right.
Are you serious? Every state capital on lockdown?
So let me ask you, and where do we go from here? What is it that if there was a message, for the Black community, for the Hispanic community, for the Asian community, for all of those communities who have been suppressed for so long, and finally now have a little bit more representation? What do we do now? What are the next steps?
2 things. Keep voting. Learn more about what's on the ballot. Propose your own things on the ballot. Vote locally, vote nationally, vote early, vote often. Vote. Vote. It's so important to exercise your voice. Secondly, don't respond with bitterness or hatred. That is how we continue the cyclical myth and power thing that we need to get rid of in this country. If America is truly to live up to who America can be, we have to embrace love and respect and reconciliation. We cannot continue to hold on to bitterness and hatred. Plain and simple.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me, for your insights, man. I appreciate it. Radio check. Hey, pick up the mic. I know you hear it. Radio check.